Since 11 o'clock this morning, and we're not finished yet because Ryan Briscoe has moved on to the track for another shot at getting on the front row. He was on the front row for a while, but now is in 4th position. We've still got about 26 minutes to go in qualifying, so we could see several more attempts before we're finished. Elio Castro-Neves sets the pace at 227.970. Ryan Briscoe's average right now is 226.659. He needs a 226.990 to better Dario Franchitti and move on the front row.
Will Power? I thought he'd be...
Yeah. What's he doing up there?
Well, remember, we've seen a couple guys get into the line, pull them out, get into the line. I mean, they're playing the cycle.
I only say that because when your teammate is solidly there, you have different motivation than if it's a non-team car. But we'll see.
Here's the green flag, and the run begins. $175,000 to the winner of the pole today. $100,000 from Peak Performance and $75,000 from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Scott Dixon.
Another spring change.
Yep. Meanwhile, Ryan Briscoe, according to the tracker, is up. Well, he's at went in as 4th.
Yeah, I mean, to come back to you, Jan, on, you know, okay, what's Will thinking there in that line? You got that $175,000 little token out there.
Well, you have to remember, with most of these big teams, when they say drive, you drive. It's not like you're saying, hey, I'd like to go out. It's like, look, are you the driver or are you the team manager? So if they send you out, you go. Otherwise, it's in the team's hands.
225.914 for Briscoe.
I guarantee you there's not a driver in the paddock area that wouldn't like to be in one of those Penske cars that would do just that. Say, what do you want me to do? Drive now?
Yeah.
Do it again?
No
Try
problem.
harder? Yes. Yep. Okay.
Second lap about to be completed for Ryan Briscoe.
Very similar.
225.882, a little bit slower than lap number 1.
So if he's shooting to be up on the outside of that front row at least and bump off Dario, he needs to pick it up there.
Yeah, he'll need quite a bit more. In fact, if you do the calculations, he'd have to do a 228.
Yeah,
that's not going to happen.
He's going to lose this spot because he was 4th.
Well, he won't actually lose it. Because remember, we don't withdraw the time. I mean, it may look like that on the monitor, but he'll go back to whatever his best 4 lap was. That's a little bit of the tricky part of the timing and scoring of this one, is you don't withdraw.
Yeah.
225.8 on lap number 3.
And that, with that being a new format around here, we're not used to doing it. I keep looking back at the tower here, and they keep withdrawing the guy when he represents. But that's not the case. You're locked into that, and it only should update a faster lap for you.
Correct. A little bit like road course qualifying on an oval in a way. Sort of, one at a time.
Checkered flag drops. And the 4th lap for Ryan Briscoe is 225.678.
Well, that's going to keep him in his 4th spot.
Yep.
Inside row 2. Not a bad spot.
Think we'll see him again?
Yes.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I think so.
Might as well.
Like,
if you can sweep the front row, I mean, then you can talk amongst yourselves and, you know, essentially control the start. I mean, there's people behind that can mess it up, obviously.
If you can sweep the front row, you can have a very, very happy team owner.
And you can have a very nice picture.
Yeah, right.
And 175 grand on the other 2 spots to go with it.
Yep. Will Power's going to give it another shot. He is P2 at the moment with an average of 227.379.
Well, he was very close to that average of having to bump up to where Elio was. Has it gotten cooler enough on that racetrack? You can see the shadows. They're the shadows that Jack was talking about.
Yep.
Well, he needed a mile an hour. So there was a...
No, his average was 227.3 to the 227.9. So that's what I say.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
he just needs a little uptake.
"21 minutes to go in pole day. Remember, a full day of qualifying tomorrow will fill the field the last 9 spots and then begin the bumping process with the slowest car, regardless of what they had qualified on, bumped from the field. Green flag waves, and Will Power will try to knock his teammate off the pole position.
Turned in at 231.6. That is an excellent number. Still fairly shy of the big number we saw from Castroneves, however. Who, by the way, turned in there to 232.7.
And he's projected on what kind of lap?
They give it just a little 220, well, 227.2.
Really?
Yeah.
There it is, a little bit better as he crossed the line at 227.
334.
Yep.
Still slower than he ran earlier.
Hard to imagine. That's 227 is slower than you ran earlier.
Yeah, we've lost relativity here, haven't we? Oh, man. He's using a little bit more track in this run than he did earlier.
Should be just slightly better.
It is 227.415.
Oh, he turned in into 232 that time. 232.2. I mean, it's still a half a mile an hour, but he's picking it up.
Yeah, have it keep coming alive here for the 3rd lap.
In fact, he's in a 227.5 range if he strings these two together.
Again, Elio's average is 227.9. That's where you got to be shooting for that average.
One more lap to go. 3rd lap for Will Powers, 227.536.
Another 232. That's just mind-boggling when you think about that. Consistently 232, just turn the wheel with precision right there.
Yeah, and look at those laps as they line up. 27.3, 27.4, 27.5. Precision.
So many times we talk about the 10 miles here, about how crazy that is, and they're doing it over and over and over on the edge today.
Yep. Okay, checkered flag, 4th lap. 227.434, and the average for Will Power is 227.429. So that was quicker than his earlier run. But he's still in P2 in the middle of row number 1. Hideki Muto, who is 9th quick, will try it again. Just a little more than 15 minutes to go, about 15.5 minutes before the checkered flag drops and pole day will be over. Alex Tagliani, currently 5th fast at 226.226, is going to try it again.
And I think from the speed that we've seen from Tags, in his mind, in his team's mind now, they're not saying, oh, what do I got to do to knock off Elio? It's more of saying, okay, what do we got to do to try and get in that front row?
Yeah.
I mean, you always want that, but again, just being realistic of what you're trying to accomplish here with getting back out on track and laying down some laps.
First lap 226.586, second lap 226.356. Will Power is out of his car, apparently is going to call it a day. currently in the middle of the front row.
That look on his face, he's like, I could be